Hello viewers, welcome to SAT Prep class with Mr. David. As I've promised you in the last video that I'm going to be uploading series of videos that I know are most frequently asked questions on SAT Day. If you have been dreaming of 800 in mathematics, you're in the right channel. Follow through the concept. I'm going to teach all of this at ease and you're going to love it. Today we're looking at digital math SAT best strategy in lines, slope, and equation of a line. And these are the objectives for this class. Finding slope of 2 points. 2. Nature of slope of a line. 3. Finding slope from a graph. 4. Finding equation of a line when slope and y-intercept is given. 5. Finding the equation of a line when a point and a slope is given. 6. Finding the equation when 2 points are given, equation of a line. Then 7. Miscellaneous on all of what we have discussed. Alright, without wasting much of the time, what do we understand by the word slope? Slope is a measure of slant, which is the steepness of a line. A slope is found by finding the change along your y over a change along the x-axis. And you can also denote a slope with letter m. So m, from what we have said, is a change in y over change in x, which we can also call rise over run. Though for some reasons we're still going to call it fall over run. When it is positive, that's when we call it rise over run. And when it is negative, we call it fall over run. On x and y axis, what do we call rise? The y axis is what we call the rise, while the run is the x axis. And that's all as regards the first objective. What is expected of us? In calculation, our rise will be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Thank you. Moving on to the nature of slope of a line. There are 4 nature of the slope of a line. Number 1, we have a positive slope. What is positive slope? Positive slope is a line that runs from the left to the right upward. What do I mean? It runs from the left to the right upward, just this way. So I can say this is the starting and this is the end part of it. Don't forget, they always move from left to the right in upward direction. So this is your start, and that's where you find your what? x1. And this is where you find your x2, while here is your y1, and you trace it out to your y-axis. Up here, that's your y2. And that's all you need to know as regards positive slope. So it's a line that runs from the left to the right upward. Moving on to number 2, we have a negative slope. Negative. What's a negative slope? A negative slope is also a line that runs from the left to the right, but this time around in a downward position. So you have it like this. So this is your start, and this is the end. So by the time you trace it out, this is your y1. Trace it down, this is your x1. This is x2. And this is y2. Number 3, we have zero slope. Zero slope. Zero slope can also be called horizontal line. Can also be called horizontal line. Horizontal. It is parallel to the x-axis. Parallel to the x-axis. If I want to draw it, it looks like this. And number 4, we call it undefined slope. Undefined slope can also be called vertical line. Vertical line. And it is parallel to the y-axis. So if I want to draw it, this is it, because this is my y-axis. And I believe this is clear to you. Moving on to equation of a line when slope and y-intercept is given. Meaning we are given slope, which is denoted with m, and also y-intercept. You can use b. Some other textbook uses c, but I prefer b. So when those two information are given, you can recall y equal to mx plus b. And that is all that you need in this concept. Moving on to number 3, that's when you have to find equation when a point and a slope is given. A point means they gave you x1, y1, and also a slope. So you recall y minus y1 equal to m into x minus x1. And that is it. Moving on to equation of a line when 2 points are given. Also, meaning they gave you x1, y1, and x2, y2. So when we have this information and you have to generate equation of a line, this is the formula: y minus y1 equal to your slope, which is changing y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Open bracket, x minus x1. And then you're done with that. So with this few information that I've given you, let's see how to apply it for SAT kind of questions. Don't forget, the summary of everything I've said before we look at the question is that for slope, it is rise over run, which is changing y over changing x. And for nature of slope, we have positive, which is a line that runs from the left to the right, upward. For negative, a line that runs from the left to the right, but downward. For zero slope, it is parallel to the x-axis, while for undefined slope, it is parallel to the y-axis. And we move to equation. When you have your slope, you have y-intercept. All you need to recall is y equal to mx plus b. And then if it is a point, slope, information, all you recall is y minus y1 equal to m into x minus x1. And lastly, if you are given 2 points and then you're asked to find equation of a line, you recall y minus y1 equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Enclose in bracket x minus what? x1. All right. With the teaching, then we can go straight to solving questions related to what I've said. Question 1. Find the slope of a line that passed through this point. So the first information they gave us 3 and 8. So 3 will be x1 and 8 will be y1. 5 will be x2 and 12 will be y2. And earlier we have said slope is denoted with m, which will give you change in y as y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And thereafter, you plug in your values. For y2 it is 12, for y1 is 8, divided by 5 minus 3. And that will give you 4 out of 2, and you have your 2 as your answer. And that's all as regards finding slope of when 2 points are given. Moving on to the next question. The question 2 said, write an equation of a line with slope 3. So given m equal to 3, that's a slope. It passes through these 2 points, and the point is 5, minus 2. So this is x1 and this is y1. So what they gave us here is a slope and a point. What we recall is y minus y1 equal to m into x minus x1. And you plug in your value. Y still remain y. y1 is minus 2 equal to m is 3, x is still x, and x1 is 5. And this will give you negative times negative, that will give you positive. So you have plus 2 equal to, you open the bracket by distributing this 3 to everything in the bracket. So you have 3x minus 15. Then you take 2 to the other side, or rather subtract 2 from both. So this cancels out, and you have y equal to 3x minus 15 minus 2, that will give you minus 17. And that is all as regards what we are asked to generate here. Moving on to question 3. The question says, which of the following is the equation of a line that passes through these 2 points? Again, you label your point. This is x1, this is y1. This is x2, this is y2. And we can find the slope first, which is change in y over change in x. And that is 12 minus 8 over 5 minus 3. And that's 4 out of 2, which is 2. So you have your slope. So you can use the formula for slope intercept, or you can use a point slope. Either way that comes to your head first. So I'm going to use a point slope, which is y minus y1 equal to m into x minus x1. And you plug in all your information. y1 is 8, m is 2, this is x minus x1 is 3. You distribute the 2 over everything in the bracket, which will give you 2x minus 6. Then you move it to the other side. Any sign that crosses the other sign will change, or rather you just add 8 to both sides. So negative 8 cancel positive 8. So you have y equal to 2x minus 6 plus 8, you have plus 2. And our answer to this question is A. Again, you can apply one of SAT strategy method, which is you plug in the point into all of the equation and see which one would give you 3 when you plug in 8 as y, or the other way around, when you plug in 3 and see which one will give you 8 as y. So if I use that to confirm our answer, we have y equal to 2x plus 2. So plug in x equal to 3. So you have y equal to 2 times 3 plus 2. And that will give you y equal to 6 plus 2. And that's y equal to 8. So meaning it satisfies. If you try for B, C, D, it doesn't work. So meaning on exam day, you can decide not to go through this process and just plug in to see what will give you the y corresponding value. Thank you. I'm going to use the last strategy I did with this question. First of all, you look for any point that is easier for you to plug in and get your y corresponding value. And looking at 0 is a very good point. So if I plug in 0, I'm expected to get 4. So if I plug in 0, I'm getting 4 here. This is out. Because if I plug in 0, I'll be getting y equal to 3. If I plug in 0, this is in, and this is out. So what I've done now, I've eliminated 2 options. You can't really do any necessity without learning method of elimination. So what I've done now is to remove 2 options. So I have A and C. And my guess will be between A and C. And then pick any other point and see which one really fits in. I can pick 1 again because 1 is another friendly number. So I'm looking for, when I plug in x as 1, let me see the one that y will also give me 1. So if you do that for option A, you have 3 into 1 plus 4, and that will give you 3 plus 4, which is 7. So this is not correct. So A is out. And obviously, I don't need to waste time on exam day. I just go on with C. But for the sake of we're learning and then we want to confirm whether we're going to get 1 as the answer. So let's plug in x equal to 1 in option C. So we have y equal to minus 3 into 1 plus 4. And that will give you minus 3 plus 4. And that will give you just 1. And that gave us what we're looking for. So our answer is what? C. I believe we're learning. Let's move on to question 5. Question 5 said, in the figure on the left, if line L has a slope, so they gave us a slope to be 2. So take note of your information. So I have my M equal to 2. What is the y-intercept? So I'm looking for y-intercept, which I said earlier that I will always take note of that as B. So in the graph, you can tell that they gave us points. How do we read this point? Your x value, take it down. That's where you have it as 3. So this is 3. And then draw it, trace it out to the y as is, you get y equal to 4. So these are the points they gave in this question. So with this point, it is easier for me to get my B, which is my y-intercept. Recall formula that we said we're going to use for slope intercept form, and that is y equal to mx plus b. Plug in all your information. You have your x, you have your y, you have your m, and it's b we're looking for, and that's just substitution. So what is y? Y is 4. What is m? M is 2. What is x? X is 3. Plus what? B. So you have 4 equal to 6 plus b. Then just take 6 away from both sides. This is out. And you have your b equal to 4 minus 6. You have a negative 2. Are we together? Okay, sorry. This is a negative. The negative slope, a negative slope. So this will be a negative slope. So we'll take 6 from both sides, and that will give you 10. So we have an answer to be 10. So B equal to 10, and your answer is D. I hope it's clear. Thank you. Moving on to question 6. Question 6 says we should find the slope. From the nature of slope, I told you that a line from the left to the right downward is a negative slope. So already I know my answer must be a negative. So with that, I can eliminate B and D because they are all positive. So your answer is between C and A. And looking at the formula for slope, which is change in y over change in x. Your change in y this is the starting point, so you have x1, y1, and this is x2, y2. So when you plug in all your information, you have 0 minus r over y2 is x minus 0. So you have a negative r over x, and that is your answer. So our answer is A. Question 7. Find the slope of a line from the graph. We're looking for the slope of the graph, and then we recall what we said from the introduction, which is rise over run. So because it's a scale graph, it is easier for me to just connect to any point I can read on the graph and check the rise and also the run. Already we know it's a positive slope. So this is a rise. I'll trace it out. This is it from here to here. That's 2 units rise. And then you trace this one to this. That's 3 units run. So your answer is what? 2 out of what? 3. And that is how to find the slope of the equation of a line that is scaled like this. Moving on to question 8. Write the equation of a line in the xy plane. We are asked to write the equation of a line in the xy plane. Even though you can use elimination, like I said, you are not going to really do well if you don't know how to use elimination method. It is important you narrow your answer to 2 options, and mostly you just pick your answer by just elimination. In this question now, I've seen my y-intercept is on, when you read it forward, that's 1, 2, 3. So my y-intercept is on 3. So I know it has to do with plus 3. So A is out, and then D is out. Why is A and D out? Because they have a positive 2 respectively. So my answer is between B and C. And then both of them are negative, so I have to read from the graph. So from the graph, you can tell that is a negative slope because there's a line that is running from the left to the right downward. And the fall is just 3 units, while the run is 2 units. And that alone, you have your slope to be a negative 3 because it's falling over 2. So that alone give you your answer. So my answer is B as the correct answer. And this is wrong. Why is it wrong? Because here is 2 over 3. But what I got is negative 3 over 2. Are we together? All right. Moving on to question 9. Which of the following is the graph of the equation of y equal to 2x minus 5 in the xy plane? The key information is that the equation is in the form of slope-intercept form. Is in the form of slope-intercept form. And the y-intercept is a negative 5. The slope is a positive 1. So these 2 information help you to eliminate what doesn't conform with that. Again, let me say what I said earlier. I said the slope is positive 2, while the y-intercept is minus 5. So with this information, I can eliminate option B first. Why am I eliminating option B? Because option B is a negative slope, and already our slope is positive. And for the y-intercept is minus 5. A stand tall there, and then C is out because the y-intercept doesn't pass through You pass through the positive side. And also A is out. Why is A out? Because the y-intercept is on the positive axis of the y-axis. Then obviously, I would just go for D without solving, without stress. If you look at it, the y-intercept is actually at a -5. And that is it. So meaning I don't have to solve unnecessarily before picking my answer. With this strategy, you can eliminate and then you'll be fine. Moving on to question 10. This is one of the others, but I mean, we'll make it simple for you. The equation above in the equation of a line in the xy plane and t is a constant. If the slope of the line is 10, so learn to write out your information, m equal to -10, sorry. What is the value of t? So we're looking for t, that's all. And they gave us an equation, tx plus 12y equal to -3. So all that matters here is to take this equation to look like y equal to mx plus b. That's a slope-intercept form so that you can deduce your slope. And that is exactly what I'm going to do, meaning make y to stand alone. Every other expression on the right-hand side. So the first one that is leaving is tx. So I can subtract tx from both sides. And if I do that, I have 12y equal to -tx minus 3. And I divide all through by 12 again, all through by 12, just for me to see y stand alone. So I have minus t over 12, x minus 1 over 4. Now, earlier we are told that slope is -10. And now if you compare this with the general form, which is y equal to mx plus b, you can tell that your slope from what we have solved is minus t over 12. So you can equate both of them together, meaning minus t over 12 equal to minus 10. Then just cross multiply. You have a -t equal to, or when you cross multiply, you have minus 120. Then t will give you 120. And that is your answer, 120. Moving on to question 11. What is the slope of the line below? Just what we did earlier, isolate y. That's all. But don't forget, the reference is always turning it into y equal to mx plus b, mx plus b. So let's solve. 8x plus 5y equal to 17. Take 8x from both sides. This cancelled out, and you have your 5y equal to minus 8x plus 17. Then divide all through by 5. When you do that, you have succeeded in isolating your y. So you have y equal to minus 8 over 5, x plus 17 over 5. And looking at this with the general form y equal to mx plus b, you can tell that your slope is equal to minus 8 over 5. And that's option D. Moving on to question 12. The line shown in the xy plane above passes through the origin, and point A, B is like your x and your y value. And we're told that it passes through origin. So when you see the word origin, it means it passes through 0, 0. And then we're told that b is greater than a. What is your b? These are your y value, and these are your x value at that point. So this is like xy. So where you have a is x, where you have b is y. Now the question says which of the following could be the slope of a line could be. So we don't know, we just want to assume. But based on the teaching, I told you positive slope is a line that runs from the left to the right upward. And that is exactly what we have here. So that alone, I eliminate option A. And then again, because of the inequality they gave us, I said B is greater than A. I will eliminate C. Because it can only be C if B is equal to A. But that's not what they gave us. So your answer is between B and C. Don't forget your slope is changing Y over changing X. And we're told that it started from the origin. So you can just neglect that and focus on the other point, which is A comma B. So your change in Y will be your B over X, which is A. And we are told that B is greater. So you have a greater value here, and definitely it will be over less number. So in the option, where do we have a greater number over a less number? And that is just option D. So B is wrong. Question 13. Line M passes through this point, K comma 7. This is X1, this is Y1. And 3 comma K minus 4. This is X2, this is Y2. And the slope. So they gave you slope. So we have all the information. So we can recall that slope is Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. What is the slope? 3 equal to K minus 4 minus 7 over X2, which is 3, minus X1, that is K. And you have 3 equal to K. Minus 4 minus 7 is minus 11 over 3 minus K. So you can cross multiply. So you have a 3 into 3 minus K equal to K minus 11. And you open up the bracket, and that will give you 9 minus 3K equal to K minus 11. Then collect the like terms, meaning add 11 to both sides just to cancel this. Then add a positive 3K to both sides, positive 3K. And this cancelled out. So what you have is 9 plus 11, that will give you 20, equal to K plus 3K, that will give you 4K. And when you divide both sides by 4, your K will give you 5. Last question. Line T in the XY plane has a slope. So they gave you a slope, which is your M, passes through the points. So this is like X1, Y1. So I have my slope, so I can eliminate also. So meaning A is out. Why? Because the slope here is 13, but what they gave me is negative 1 over 3. I can eliminate B because the slope is 9, and what I have as a slope from the question is negative 1 over 3. So my answer is between C and D. You cannot rule out method of elimination on your SAT to get your 1.5 and above. Then in maths, 800 perfect score. All right. So I'm going to use this point and to test which one actually satisfied between C and D. So all you do is to plug in X equal to 9 and see which one will give you equivalent 10. So if I try that on C, it will be minus 9 out of 3 plus 10. And that will give me minus 3 plus 10. And that will give me a 7. So this is not correct because I'm looking for the one that will give me 10. So because I have eliminated C, I don't need to waste time on that D. I'll just go ahead and pick D. But because we're learning, let's see whether D is the right answer. So we have Y equal to minus, still 9 out of 3, then plus 13. So you have minus 3 plus 13, and that will give you 10. So that is definitely the right answer. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much. See you for part 2 of this in the next video. Thank you.